Hey E36 fanatics, Steven here. Today I'm going to do a quick, easy fix on my little brother's 1997 323i. I'm changing the serpentine belt on his car. So the basic thing to watch for with serpentine belts is as they start aging, they crack and they start making a noise. And by that point, you know it's obviously time to do it, time to replace it. And this is a very easy DIY job to do. You really need to jack up the passenger side of the vehicle, and the reason for that is you have to get to the AC belt, and these BMWs are very low to the ground, so unless you want to try and get under the car while it's just sitting there, I suggest jacking it up on the passenger side. So if you're wanting to replace your serpentine belt, you first have to actually pull off the AC belt. That's because the AC belt come under here. This is the AC belt right here. Now, if you see it on the main crankshaft, there is, there's two belts. There's one here and one here, and there's one here. This is the serpentine belt behind the AC belt. So you have to actually pull off the AC belt before you can pull off the serpentine belt. Technically, you don't actually have to even have an AC belt, but I like my compressor working so I can have AC. So whenever I replace my serpentine belt, I also replace the AC belt. Over here, here's the tensioner for the AC belt. It's an 8mm, it's a hex 8mm, and what I do, because I only have these little hex tools and it doesn't give me enough torque, I actually rig something up with a breaker bar. I take a socket that will fit into the hex right here, which is like an 8mm socket regular, and I fit it in here and have it going sideways, and that'll provide enough pressure to turn the tensioner. As you can see it turning. So all you got to do is loosen the tension on, basically pull it so it loosens the tension on the belt. Then you can pull the belt off while you got it that way. Okay, so here's the first belt. So I got that off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the serpentine belt. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove these two bolts right here, or these two nuts. They're 10mm that hold in the cruise control module and the air box right here. And the goal is to get the air box out of the way so I can have some more space to work with the serpentine belt down here. So it's just two 10mm right here, and then I'm just gonna cut the air box at the mass airflow sensor. So you just got these two little clips and that pops right out. Okay, so quick tip for y'all: if y'all are doing a serpentine belt and maybe the tensioner that you're supposed to be tensioning, which is right here, say that the socket in there is, or the threads are mangled up and you can't actually use anything, and when you keep turning it, it's not actually tensioning at all. It's not doing anything. There is a second option, which I've already had to do once, and this is my second time doing it now because his threads on his tensioner are toast, or his tensioner pulley. And that is, there's a bolt right above the tensioner pulley, and it's a 16. And let me see. So if you're looking at the tensioner pulley from the driver's side, it's going to be to the left and above a little bit. Right here. And you can actually do the same exact thing with this because it's a tensioner bolt, and you can actually use it to take the tension off, and that's exactly what I'm about to do with it. So once you've got the serpentine belt off, as I do now, you gotta thread it around the fan blades right here to finish getting it out. And then at that point, you need to throw in your new one. And it's the same process. You gotta thread it through the fan blades first. And should be as easy as cake, really, to put it back. If if you didn't write down your path, this is the typical path for a BMW E36. You got goes around the water pump, alternator, then down to the power steering pump, then to the crank, and then it goes around the tensioner and back to the water pump. It's pretty straightforward, really. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the new serpentine belt on. I'll show y'all what the old ones look like. Okay, so I got them both off, serpentine and AC belt. And look at this serpentine belt. Cracks are very pronounced. Like I don't wait till the serpentine belt gets this bad to replace it. This was a belt that was squeaking bad on my little brother's car, so it needed to be replaced very badly. As you can see, it's well cracked through. At this point, this belt was at the risk of completely failing while it was driving, and then your vehicle would be immobile. And if you didn't catch it quick enough, it could overheat and blow a head gasket. So that's great that got rid of this. The AC belt isn't as bad, but I mean it's got all these cracks, all these hairline cracks. It's very ready to go. Then compare it to this brand new belt right here. You know, it has no cracks at all. It's brand new, so it's ready to go on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this new belt on and trash these old belts. Wow, look at that. That was definitely ready to go. Last but not least, I like to take a look at my belts, make sure that they're lining up right on the ridges along the whole thing. And let me see. Besides that, once I've fed it through the fan again, I go ahead and put everything around except for the tensioner, and then I go ahead and retension it again to put the belt back on, and you're done with your serpentine belt.